It's Gary from Constricted and Addicted. Today I want to talk about boa care with the change of temperature. Here in Northern California, we are experiencing warmer weather. So how does that affect your boa constrictors? How does it affect my boa constrictors as far as humidity is concerned, heating, gradient temperatures, and things like that? So what I wanted to talk to you today about is just kind of some of the things I go through when we go through seasonal changes, such as going from cold weather to warm weather. Today we had almost 80 degrees here in the foothills where I live. So it's time for me to start going around and making sure, checking the humidities, gun temping the substrate as well, so that I make sure that they're not getting too warm, because right now we're in pretty mild temperatures. It's it's between 70. I have seen some 90-degree weather forecasted for later in the week. So this is when I want to make sure that the substrate and the humidity remain constant. In the warmer temperatures, it's my experience that I've found that it's easier to take care of and maintain the humidity in the enclosures than it is in the wintertime, just because of the warm weather. The warm weather tends to keep the substrate a little bit more moist, and therefore creating the humidity. At least that's my experience with it. In the colder temperatures, I got to check it a little more, because the cold weather kind of dries things out. It tends to lower my humidity, and it makes it a little harder for me to keep it where I need to be. So naturally I'm spraying the substrate more. Then I've got other things I've got to watch out for in the wintertime as well, as far as, the gradient temperature of the enclosures of my boa constrictors, because, it's 30 degrees outside and my house might be 68 degrees. So what I've done is I've created a gradient environment inside their enclosures so that they have a hot spot of 90 degrees on one side, and then I've got another heat strip on the other side of their enclosure that's at 75 degrees. So there's a gradual heat transfer from one side of their enclosure to the other, so that they're not in a spot in their enclosure that is colder than it really should be. And it's worked for me. So now that we're going into warmer temperatures, I have to change things up a little bit. So today was that day. I went through all my enclosures. I do spot cleaning. Right now I fed all the boa constrictors earlier this week, and the ball pythons. So this is my ball python, Willie. Willie is a blue-eye leucistic with a birthmark, which is pretty rad. This is technically my granddaughter's ball python. He is a sweetheart. I love this guy to death. He's very interactive. Looks like he's going into shed too. He's starting to get a little pink. Let me see his eyes. His eyes are still a little. His eyes are still a little clear. But anyways, so what I did is today I did water changing, and that was a good opportunity for me to go in and start temping my substrate, checking everything. And it's also important that I check my room temperatures of where my snakes are as well. Because it gets warm. I want to open up windows. I want to turn air conditioners on. And this is when you got to also think about the temperature that you're bringing your snakes to. So again, it might be, we get up to over 100, 105 degrees here where I live. And it's very easy to kind of not pay attention to my snakes, environment, because of, the air conditioning being on, whatever the case is. So it's important to me that I also make sure that, because my house is comfortable, I got to make sure the boas are comfortable too. These guys don't know how to regulate their own body temperature. So it's up to me to do that. So again, so it really boils down to the spot checking that I do. And I do spot checks pretty regularly, usually once every 2 days or so. And if I notice that the humidity is being kind of stubborn and it's being low, then I do that one a little more consistently. I get the humidities up. I keep them anywhere between 50 and 70 degrees. And if I have a snake in shed, I'll bump it up to between 70 and 80 degrees. And it's worked for me. So like I said, right now we're coming into the warm season, and it's just one of those times for me where I have to check everybody, make sure everybody's, doing well, make sure that their enclosures are good, make sure everybody's healthy. Like I said, I temp the substrate because I don't want to take for granted that when it was 38 degrees outside and 68 degrees in my house, that when it's 90 degrees outside and 80 degrees in my house, that everything is still okay inside of my BOA's enclosure. So, I think this one's going to be kind of a short video. There's not a whole lot to it. It's really, it gets me into that routine. I am completely in a routine when it comes to my BOA care. I mean, it's one of the things that's kind of ingrained in me. I get home from work and I go and I spot check everything. And the spot checking might get reduced a little bit once it's been a couple of weeks since the snakes have eaten, because obviously they're not pooing as much, they're not going to the bathroom as much. I'm not having to go in there and clean things as often. What I am going in there and doing is just checking their water dishes. Again, just making sure that there's no feces in there or urates or anything. And just making sure that overall that the snake is good and the cage is clean and that their environment is where it's supposed to be, whether it's summertime or wintertime. And maybe you're that way too, but that's what I do. But I do also understand that I can get complacent in the summertime because it's warmer. So my brain kind of says that, everything's okay. But the thing to remember is these guys can't regulate their own heat. So it's really up to us to make sure, check, and be aware of their environments as well as ours. So I hope this video helps you out. If you liked it, please subscribe, please like the video, and we'll talk to you later.